The moment I saw him walk through our doorway, smiling too confidently, standing too close to her, I knew something in my marriage had already died. And the worst part? My wife introduced him to our friends before she even acknowledged me. "He's just a co-worker," she said lightly, brushing past me as if I were an afterthought. But the way his hand lingered on the small of her back told me otherwise. The party had barely begun, yet I already felt like a guest in my own home. It was supposed to be a simple anniversary gathering, nothing fancy, just a few friends, music, and food I'd cooked myself. I'd even worn the shirt she once had made my eyes look good. Funny how stupid that feels in hindsight. I was bringing out a tray of appetizers when I caught them in the kitchen doorway. "Close." Whispering. She laughed in that soft, breathy way she used to reserve for me. He leaned in closer, pretending to point at something on the counter. I didn't hear the words, but I saw everything. My chest tightened. I told myself not to jump to conclusions, that I'd been stressed, anxious, overthinking too much lately. But then he said, clear as day, "Relax. Tonight's the night, babe." Babe. He didn't even bother whispering softly. My wife stiffened slightly, her eyes darting toward me, but not with fear, with annoyance, as if my presence complicated things. She didn't know I'd heard. She didn't know I finally understood. Not a co-worker, not a friend, a backup, a replacement waiting in the wings, a man filling the emotional space she no longer let me stand in. For an hour, I watched them orbit each other like they shared a secret language. The subtle touches, the knowing smirks, the way she lit up for him and dimmed for me. Everyone else seemed oblivious, and that made the humiliation worse. At one point, my friend Omar leaned over and whispered, "Who's the new guy? Seems pretty comfortable for a first-time guest." I forced a smile. "Yeah," I said. Comfortable is one word for it. But inside, I was shaking. Not with anger, with clarity, because everything suddenly made perfect sense. The recent coldness, the night she stayed late at work, the constant comparison of me to other men, the sudden self-care upgrade she didn't invite me into. She'd been preparing for an exit, and he was her soft landing. I don't know when the idea came to me. Maybe it was a heat in my chest, or the humiliation burning quietly behind my smile. Maybe it was a wine. Or maybe it was a simple realization that I refused to go down quietly. Whatever the reason, when she announced that we should all play a game, one she and her co-worker had apparently discussed beforehand, I acted before she could take control. "Actually," I said, raising my glass and stepping toward them, "why don't you take the lead?" I looked straight at him. "If you're going to be such a big part of this evening, go ahead, lead us." He blinked, confused. My wife's eyes widened, not with guilt, but with panic. This wasn't part of her script. I don't really," he started, but our guests were already watching. I smiled at him, calm, almost gentle. "Come on, you seem pretty close to my wife. Show us what you've got." The room went silent. He swallowed hard. My wife grabbed his arm subtly, nails digging into his sleeve. "Stop it," she hissed under her breath. "You're making it weird." But I wasn't the one who brought another man into our marriage and paraded him around our home. So I leaned in slightly and said the line that broke everything open. "If you're ready to take my place in private, you shouldn't be shy in public." Every muscle in her face froze. And then, slowly, painfully, people began connecting the dots. Their proximity, their whispers, their matching glances. I watched realization spread across the room like a wave. She stuttered something about boundaries. He muttered something about misunderstanding. Someone coughed awkwardly. It was perfect. He tried to salvage the moment by suggesting a simple game, some trivia thing. But his voice trembled, and my wife kept trying to tug him away, and the entire thing collapsed under the weight of their exposed secret. Finally, he blurted, "Look, we should go." But before he could escape, I stepped aside, gesturing toward the door. "Take the lead," I repeated softly. "Isn't that what you came here for?" He couldn't look me in the eye. She tried to save face, raising her chin and saying, "You're being dramatic. Nothing is happening. People talk to each other, you know." But none of our guests bought it. Not anymore. One of the couples left quietly, uncomfortable with the tension. Omar just shook his head at her. Another friend asked softly, "Are you okay, man?" and squeezed my shoulder. It was the first time all night I felt seen. She left with her backup, but not hand in hand. More like two people retreating from a crime scene, each blaming the other. The house was quiet when everyone finally left. I sat alone on the couch, replaying everything. Not the betrayal I think I had known in my bones long before tonight, but the disbelief, the humiliation, the way she expected me to swallow it and smile while she evaluated potential replacements like trying on shoes. My hands trembled, but it wasn't anger now. It was relief, because tonight didn't break me. It revealed her. And maybe that's a real heartbreak, realizing someone stopped choosing you long before you even knew you were an option. She came home hours later, alone, makeup smudged, excuses ready. But I didn't need them. The suitcase was already waiting by the door. She froze. "You're kicking me out." "I'm giving you the lead," I said quietly. "You clearly wanted it." She tried to argue, cry, reframe the narrative, but her words felt empty, rehearsed, and I was finally tired. When the door closed behind her, the silence didn't feel lonely. It felt honest. A week later, her backup man blocked her number. Apparently, being a secret affair partner was more exciting than being a real partner. Reality, as it often does, ruined the fantasy. She told a mutual friend that I humiliated her at the party. Maybe I did. Or maybe I just removed the mask she asked him to hold up for her. Either way, I'm sleeping better than I have in months. Because sometimes revenge isn't loud, dramatic, or destructive. Sometimes it's as simple as staying calm while someone exposes themselves, and letting them take the lead in their own downfall.